In C#, when you pass a variable as a parameter to a method, the default behavior is to create a copy of the variable's value and pass it to the method. Any changes made to the parameter inside the method do not affect the original variable outside the method. However, there may be cases where you want a method to be able to modify the original variable itself. This is where ref parameters come in. By using the ref keyword, you can pass a variable by reference to a method, allowing the method to access and modify the original variable. This means any changes made to the parameter inside the method will also affect the variable outside the method. Here's a code example to illustrate the use of ref parameters. In this code example, we have a method named multiply by 2 that takes a ref parameter of type int. The ref keyword is used to indicate that we want to pass the original variable by reference. In the main method, we declare a variable named number and assign it the value of 5. We then pass number as a ref parameter to the multiply by 2 method. Inside the method, we multiply the value parameter by 2, which modifies the original variable number itself. As a result, when we print the value of number after calling the multiply by 2 method, we see that the value has been multiplied by 2. The use of ref parameters allows the method to directly modify the original variable, providing a way to pass values by reference and have the changes reflected outside the method. The variable being passed as a ref parameter must be initialized before being passed, and any changes made to the ref parameter inside the method will affect the original variable outside the method. Okay, here's another code snippet that demonstrates the use of ref parameters. Here we have a swap method that takes 2 integer ref parameters. The method swaps the values of the variables x and y by using a temporary variable temp. And then, in the main method, we declare 2 variables a and b with initial values. We then pass these variables as ref parameters to the swap method. As a result, the values of a and b are swapped, and we can see the updated values when we print them after the method call. The ref keyword ensures that the method can access and modify the original variables a and b directly, allowing for the values to be swapped. Now let's look at the out parameters. The out parameters are similar to ref parameters since they allow a method to return multiple values or modify the original variable passed as a parameter. There is a difference though. With out parameters, the method assumes that the variable passed as an out parameter is not initialized and expects to assign a value to it. Here are several things to remember about the out parameters. The out parameters do not require the variable to be initialized before passing it to the method. Unlike ref parameters, where the variable must have an initial value, out parameters are typically used when the method is expected to provide a value to the variable. The method using an out parameter is required to assign a value to the out parameter before returning. This ensures that the variable passed as an out parameter receives a valid value. The method assumes that the variable passed as an out parameter is not initialized and will be overwritten. Therefore, it is recommended not to rely on the initial value of the variable when using out parameters. When calling a method with an out parameter, the caller does not need to assign a value to the out parameter before passing it. Instead, the method is responsible for providing a value to the out parameter. And here's a simple code example to illustrate the use of out parameters. In this code example, we have a method called addNumbers, which takes 2 input parameters, a and b, and an out parameter, sum. Inside the method, we calculate the sum of a and b and assign the result to the sum parameter. In the main method, we declare a variable named result without initializing it. We then call the addNumbers method, passing 2 numbers, 5 and 10, as input parameters and the result variable as an out parameter. The addNumbers method calculates the sum and assigns it to the sum parameter, which in turn assigns the value to the result variable. Finally, we print the value of a result. By using the out parameter, the addNumbers method is able to provide the calculated sum as the output, which is assigned to the result variable. And one more code snippet. Here we have 3 methods: main, get rectangle dimensions, and calculate rectangle area. The get rectangle dimensions method takes 2 out parameters, length and width, and assigns values to them. In this case, we provide predefined values of 5 and 10, but in real-world scenarios, these values might be calculated or obtained from user input or other data sources. The main method declares 2 variables, length and width, without initializing them. We then call the getRectangleDimensions method, passing the variables as out parameters. The getRectangleDimensions method assigns the values of 5 and 10 to the length and width parameters, respectively. After retrieving the dimensions, we call the calculateRectangleArea method, passing the length and width as regular parameters. This method calculates and returns the area of the rectangle based on the provided dimensions. Finally, we print the calculated area in the main method. The out parameters allow the getRectangleDimensions method to provide the values of the rectangle dimensions to the caller, even though the variables were not initialized beforehand. As always, this was a brief tutorial, but hopefully it will help you understand the difference between ref and out parameters in C#. And feel free to visit our website codeprepping.com, where we have hundreds of interview questions with answers. Thank you for watching.